Good evening from Joliet, Illinois. Welcome to tonight's CCAC Soccer Showdown. The University of St. Francis hosts Indiana University South Bend tonight. Both teams looking to get off the schneid and pick up their first conference victory. Terry Bonadonna with you on the call for today's game. The Fighting Saints enter play with a record of 0-5-4 this season. They're riding a little bit of a high, though, coming into today's match. They have gotten results in back-to-back games, both of them ties. They went 1-1 at Holy Cross last week, and then over the weekend at home against Judson, an impressive come-from-behind draw. They went 3-3, the final score, with the Judson Eagles. Today they take on Indiana University South Bend, a team that is 0-3 so far in conference play. A little bit better overall, though. 3-5-1 on the season. However, they come into play today having lost 4 consecutive matches, all 4 of them by lopsided scores. The combined score of those 4 games, in fact, is just 21-2 in favor of the Titans' opponents. So they're looking to save face today, get back on track, pick up their 4th victory of the year. St. Francis has been playing better of late, but still looking for the first victory. They may have a chance to get it tonight against the struggling Titans. Both teams are on the field on a chilly Wednesday evening in September, seasonably cool. St. Francis in gold, the long sleeve jerseys being worn today. They stand on the left side of your screen to get this started today. They'll be going from left to right in the first half. Shooting into the south goal. IUSB is in black as the visiting team. They go from right to left, and they're shooting into the north goal. They'll get the first touch in today's game, and there it is. The clock has started. We're underway on a Wednesday night in Joliet, Illinois. The sun has pretty much completely set. Sunset officially about 20 minutes before the start of today's game. We've reached that time of the season. The entirety of these evening contests will be played at night. Saints work it back to their goalkeeper. It's a brand new goalkeeper. Katie Morellis kicks it away. Now a chance for IUSB in the box. There's a shot, and it's wide to the right. No score for the Titans. They had a good-looking chance from their best goal scorer. Katie Jones this season has scored more than half of her team's total goals, 6 out of the 10 that IUSB has put in the back of the net. And she got a relatively open shot. Morellis was back in position in the net. Jones was not able to hit her or her target. Ended up going wide to the right side, giving St. Francis the goal kick. Morellis is making her first start of the season in net. I'll give you her stats in just a moment. But for right now, I will tell you that she came on at halftime on Saturday in that draw against Judson. The Saints were trailing 3-2 at the half. Crystal Rodriguez, who had played every minute in net prior to that and had played pretty well this season, really struggled in the first half on Saturday. And so Morellis took over, pitched a shutout in the second half, and now she's out there for her first start of the year as the Fighting Saints get a throw in along the near sideline, deep in their own defensive territory. Let's take a look at the starters for both teams. First for Indiana South Bend. They've got Kaylee Hamilton in the lineup with Alessandra Lozano. Katie Jones, who we've already met. Jones took the shot a few moments ago. Maya DiSono, Priscilla Ramirez, Cassidy Ryan, Ariana Allen, Carly Tatalovich, Emma Zakal, and Vivian Garcia are the 10-player lineup, along with the goalkeeper, Riley Cotton. Chance brewing for St. Francis as it's sent into the box, but nobody on the back line. Cotton stops it from going out. She picks it up, and she'll get the punt here. Riley Cotton, unlike the Fighting Saints, who have used just one goalkeeper today, again, the first time anybody other than Crystal Rodriguez has started. Cotton's part of a platoon, if you will, for Indiana South Bend. She's a freshman. She's been splitting time in net with the sophomore Jordan Ayalo. That one goes to the back line, and the Titans let it go out. Goal kick coming up for IUSB, 42-20 to play in the first half. Riley Cotton has played 6 games. Jordan Ayello has also appeared in 6 games this year. They've had pretty much the same amount of time on the field. Ayello's been a lot better in terms of goals allowed, 9 compared to 16 for Cotton, 2.17 per game. Cotton has allowed almost double that, 4.16. However, Cotton has faced a lot more shots. She's made 56 saves. She's got a .778 save percentage, and she's been in net for 2 of their wins this year, 2-1-1. is the Titans' record with Cotton as the primary goalkeeper. The ball goes out the back line. That's going to be another goal kick for IUSB. Goals allowed very lopsided. Aiello's been a lot better than Cotton, but again, Cotton's faced a lot more shots, and that's indicated by the save percentage, 778 for Cotton. Aiello is at 791, so very close to one another, even though the total goals allowed is not. No score. We're nearly 4 minutes into the action. St. Francis trying to make something work, but the Titans clear it pretty quickly. Taken away once again by St. Francis, which gives me a good opportunity here to provide their starting lineup. Michelle Palayo, Zoe Vallant, Abby Janacek, Alexis Mariquin, Claudia Hernandez, Litzy Mendez, Kelly Flores, Emily Galvin, Andrea Aguirre, and Isabel Diaz are the starters for the Fighting Saints today as the Titans clear it once again. IUSB not able to get out of their defensive zone, but St. Francis so far has not been able to put together a strong attack either. Fighting Saints try to change that here. There's a shot from way out, and it's way out of bounds. About 5 feet wide of the net to the left side. We'll get a goal kick. The goalkeeper, as previously mentioned for St. Francis today, is Katie Morellis. Morellis is getting her first start. She did get her first goalie decision on Saturday. She was in net for the draw. Played the entire second half that day. On the season, has not allowed a goal in her 45 minutes. She's made 3 saves. In case you need help on that, that's a 1,000 save percentage. So pretty good start for Morellis this year. We'll see if she keeps it going today. So far, Saints haven't allowed the ball back there very much. We're only 5 minutes in. Down the far sideline, St. Francis trying to make a run. It's Alexis Mariquin looking to cut it back towards the middle. There's the cross from Mariquin, headed up into the air, and a whistle blows, a foul on the Fighting Saints. Free kick for Indiana South Bend. Titans most recently played on Saturday in Wisconsin. They took an 8-1 loss at Viterbo in their first season playing conference soccer here in the CCAC. Back-to-back home losses for IUSB prior to that. Down in the corner, Mariquin keeps it in, looking for the cross, and it's intercepted, deflected away. Gave you the score before. From their last 4 games, the Titans have been outscored 21-2. There's a shot from St. Francis to make it 22-2. A long-range shot for the Fighting Saints as they strike first today. An early goal with just 38 minutes and 34 seconds, or I should say just 6.5 minutes into the game. 38-34 to play in the first half. And the Saints are able to poke one in from around 30 yards out, pushed right past Riley Cotton, and St. Francis leads it early on. Nice start for St. Francis today, playing with the lead this time around. They had to play comeback on Saturday against Judson, had to erase 2 deficits. This time they scored quickly from the midfield. It was Isabel Diaz, I think, who took the final shot. Snuck it past Cotton. And now the Fighting Saints are back on defense, but a foul called on IUSB means a free kick for St. Francis. For Isabel Diaz, it is the team leading 3rd goal of the season. Saints are trying to make it a 2-0 score, knocked away and out of bounds. So the Titans defense has a chance to get back here. Sent towards the box. It bounces once. Saints trying to gain control of it. Not able to do so. It's taken away by Indiana South Bend. First touch got away from the Titans. Saints get it back. Down along the sideline, it's Pelayo with the cross. Knocked loose, but back to Litzy Mendez. Mendez tries to dribble her way between a couple of defenders unsuccessfully. Titans are just unable to clear it right now. Ball has remained on this side of the field, and St. Francis continues to try to take advantage. Out of bounds for a St. Francis throw. Hard pass, almost looked like it was stolen by Kelly Flores. Flores has the ball taken off her foot, and there finally is the clearance for South Bend, but Katie Jones can't keep the possession alive. Taken away by the Saints again. Titans get it back, but can they get it across midfield? It's been a long time since they've been able to do so. Finally, they do wrest the ball away, and they do get it across the midfield circle, but it's taken away by the St. Francis defense. Here come the Fighting Saints again from the midfield. Flores tries to thread it through. Knocked away by IUSB. Jones at midfield, battled off the ball. Good play defensively by Emily Galvin. Galvin sends it across midfield. Titans return fire. Nobody ahead offensively for Indiana South Bend. So St. Francis just casually lets that ball go out of bounds. As Anna Jakubiak sends it back in. So I was saying right before the goal that IUSB has been outscored 21-2 over their last three, now 22-2. 21-2 over their last four. Now 22-2 over their last five, including today. The game that started their current losing streak at Ohio Wesleyan back in early September was a tight 2-0 defeat. So after that, 19-2, they had been outscored in the span of just 3 games. Saints still on the prowl here, trying to double their lead. Not yet 10 minutes in. Zoe Vallant twirls it to the outside. There's a shot from long range that is grabbed cleanly by Cotton. Claudia Hernandez tried to shoot it from about the same distance that Diaz's goal in terms of north-south distance that Diaz scored on earlier, but she was close to the sideline as she took that shot. Didn't get a great angle at it. Easily stopped by Cotton, who has now allowed 17 goals on the season. Not sure if Riley Cotton will play the whole game. Again, she and Jordan Aiello have been flip-flopping in net. It's been not uncommon at all for either of them to play only half a game. Saints take it away. Here comes Flores. Flores steps up, has it knocked away from her. Good defense from IUSB. St. Francis gets it back. Already ahead 1-0. Mariquit on the far side, dribbles past the defender, tries to cross it, deflected back the other way. Throw in for the Fighting Saints. One bounce into the box. Send right back out. Mendez. Pass over to Zoe Vallant, whose shot is deflected. Another shot from long distance. Outside to the left, out of bounds from Kelly Flores. And it's going to be a goal kick for Indiana University South Bend. IUSB has scored in back-to-back games, so despite the blowouts, they have shown the ability to produce a little bit of offense. St. Francis has already exhibited that Indiana South Bend's defense is beatable. Another Another shot out of bounds from the Fighting Saints. Clock is closing in on 32 minutes to play in a 45-minute first half, so we're just 13 minutes into the action. Saints scored in the 7th minute. They wasted very little time in jumping out to the lead. Under the foot of Flores. Knocked away by the Titans. Saints get it right back. Flores wrestles for the ball and wins it. Kelly Flores turns and tries to go straight up the middle of the field. No gold short shirts there, but it is deflected towards the sideline where the Saints are standing by. Down to the back line, looking for a cross. Nothing there, passed out instead towards the top. Another shot from long distance and way high from Zoe Vallant. Saints got a long distance shot to go for the first goal of the game today. No success on anything similar since then. Fighting Saints have settled for a lot of shots from way outside. Again, only the one has gone in. Saints halted quickly on this attack, but it's forced out of bounds. And it will be a Fighting Saints throw-in. Hernandez towards the backside, and that's out. This time, a goal kick for IUSB. Goal kick taken by one of the defenders. Goalie herself doesn't want to get her hands dirty. Or her feet, as the case may be. This being soccer and all. She's wearing gloves. Which means I guess there's two ways you can look at it. Either she won't get her hands dirty, because her hands are covered, or her hands are already dirty, because she's wearing kind of gross gloves. But the point is, I'm not sure, I think I forgot, but she wasn't taking the goal kick. That's why I started that nonsense. St. Francis able to take the ball away, even with that goal kick involved. Titans once again have not been able to get it across midfield. They're on the right side of that midfield stripe for the Titans right now, but the Saints are toying with them a little bit. They've got the ball in their control. Down the far sideline. Lost out of bounds to the Saints. Another shot off the post, loose in front of the net and knocked away by IUSB. High into the air towards the sideline, but it stays in bounds and now knocked out. Last touch by St. Francis. Shot from Zoe Vallant did not miss by a lot. Everybody kind of seemed like they let it go, like they thought it was just going to drift out of bounds. It ended up curling and hitting the post and almost gave the Saints a chance for a rebound. Really did give them a chance for a rebound, just that there was nobody there. There's a cross in front of the net. Too many black shirts in the way. Sent out of bounds by the Titans. Saints throw in. First win of conference play is on the line. In all likelihood, one of these two teams will get it. Saints on the move, working to the outside. Long shot, it's good. Another goal for St. Francis. And again, from long range, more than 30 yards out. IUSB has been playing a little bit soft on defense, giving them some space. They've been tightening it up in the box. The Saints haven't been able to get any good looks at the net from inside the box, but from the outside, they're taking their chances. Isabel Diaz, in particular, has had some good looks at the net. A few players in between came close, but Diaz is the only one who put it in the back of the net. 2 goals in the game now for her. And Diaz has doubled her goals total for the season. She had 2 coming in. She's got 2 today. Rolled along the sideline. Saints were trying to make it 3 in a row. 2-goal lead for St. Francis. It's a bit of an unfamiliar position for the Fighting Saints. They have not held a 2-goal lead in any game all season. Here's a run back to the middle. Tapped ahead for Mendez. Litzy Mendez looked like she wanted to turn and take the shot, but she turned right into a defender, taken away by the Titans, who cough it right back up. Cross field to the left side. Ball rolled to the top of the box and knocked loose by the Titans out of bounds. I think Priscilla Ramirez there was hoping there would be a teammate there. It just wasn't the case. There's nobody around, which made it a pretty easy out of bounds play. Tossed in by St. Francis. They've already got a 2-goal lead, but it has not slowed them down offensively. That's knocked away by IUSB. And Morelos has to step up way out of the box and kick it off with the right foot. Far side, bounced into the box, stepping up. Cotton makes a sliding stop, ball loose along the sideline and out of bounds. So Cotton can get up and head back to her defensive position. Caught in between for a second there. Looked unsure about whether to play back or come in on the slide. Ultimately, she did do the slide to the back line out of bounds. .24.5 minutes are remaining in this game. First half, that is. Very propitious first half for the Fighting Saints. 2 goals matches their season high. Check that, they scored 3 the last time they played. Matches their season high for a half. I know that for sure. They trailed 3-2 at halftime on Saturday against Judson. A game that saw all that activity in the first half. And then in the second, just 1 goal into the box and a little bit too far out in front of Mendez, out of bounds. Lost again by IUSB. Taken away by the Fighting Saints. Here they come. Lost off the foot of Sandy Garcia. Taken away by the Titans. Fighting Saints just keep on holding possession. It's Garcia rolling it forward into the box. A turn, a shot, and a deflection before it can reach the goal. Now on the second chance, Mendez steps up, Doesn't get a lot on it with the left foot. Rolls right into the hands of Riley Cotton. Still 2-0 St. Francis. A nice lead for this stage of the game. Never a comfortable one. They'll try to keep adding on for now. We will potentially see in the second half, if the score remains where it is, at what point does Al Pilar decide it's time to call off the dogs, pull the defense back, and just make sure that IUSB doesn't score. Knocked out of bounds, throw in for the Fighting Saints, past the halfway point of the first half. All St. Francis so far today. They've not only scored the only 2 goals, they've held possession just about the entire game. They've got a possession here, trying to turn it into a 3rd goal. Cross deflected, second chance. That's in. Another St. Francis goal. Just over 23 minutes into the game, and it's already 3-0 Fighting Saints as they have matched their largest goal total of the season. The first attempt was deflected, not blocked, but deflected. And then on the rebound, they're able to put it in for the 3rd time in the game. The offensive performance from St. Francis today has been exceptional. Again, just three goals in their last game. I shouldn't say just 3 goals, but 3 goals in their last game is their season high. And they've already matched it. A long way to go. Still 3/4 of a game to be played. Isabel Diaz scored 2 goals. This time, I think it was Alexis Mariquin. Pretty sure. Hard to see down there sometimes, especially in the long sleeve gold uniforms that they're wearing. Typically they wear the short sleeve whites. The numbers are very big and easy to read, but not so much on these ones. Amazing to think the Fighting Saints are wearing these long sleeve jerseys today. Just 4 days ago, it was summer. 80+ degrees on Saturday afternoon. And it's supposed to be again this weekend, by the way. Although they won't all be here to experience it. Saints are still keeping it on the attack. Good ball initially is intercepted, knocked towards the sideline. It stays in bounds. IUSB keeps it in. Pushed down the side once again. Passed off between the legs of Flores there. Nifty pass to keep possession for Indiana South Bend. Titans have tried to get it to Katie Jones unsuccessfully. Jones has scored 60% of her team's goals this year. Had a good shot in the first couple of minutes. Couldn't capitalize and hasn't really had any good chances since then. Saints working around the outside. There's a turn and a shot. And knocked loose by the IUSB defense. Fighting Saints still have it. Mariquin trying to bulldoze her way through. Stopped on the play by Lozano. Saints get it back down to the corner. Nice touch. There's the cross, intercepted. There's a shot wide to the right side. Still 3-0 St. Francis. Kelly Flores tried to etch her name onto the scorer's sheet, but missed the target. Saints have scored 3 goals today. All of them have been outside normal range. They've been peppering shots towards Cotton all game. Speaking of which, there's another one, and it rolls into Cotton's hands. First 15 or 20 minutes felt like these two teams were just kind of feeling each other out. Ever since then, it's been wide open. St. Francis has scored a lot more. And now they've got their defense involved with possession of the ball, rolled up close to midfield to Mendez. Mendez pushes it through. Long run towards the box. IUSB gets there before St. Francis can. And that is rolled out in the corner. So a corner kick coming up. She tried to keep it along the sideline, but couldn't do it. Haley Bartlaga has entered for the Fighting Saints. Bartlaga is typically a starter. Not today, but she's out there now with 52 minutes still to play. There's the corner kick. Doesn't really find anybody. And cleared by the Titans. Flores. Nifty ball work to her left. Rolls it ahead. Knocked away by IUSB. There's the St. Francis defense stepping up. Here's Bartlaga towards the corner of the box. Cross from Bartlaga to Mendez. Mendez takes a dribble to the right. Couple more times. There's a cross and a near goal for St. Francis. Second chance. Knocked loose by the Titans. 2 good chances there for St. Francis. Neither of them pay off. Close, but no cigar. Still 3-0. Saints lead. Player down for the Fighting Saints, so the clock stops with 15 minutes and 28 seconds remaining in the first half. The downed player was Sandy Garcia. After the clock stopped, Garcia was pretty quickly able to get herself up. Here come the Saints. Titans need to take some possession here. It's not just that they haven't had the ball on the attacking side of the field. It's that they haven't been able to take it away at all. Fighting Saints are just passing the ball around as if it were a drill. Moving left and right. And IUSB, even though they don't want to see them taking many shots because they already have a 3-goal lead, they can see where the Saints are going here. As that's out of bounds. We're going to get a goal kick. It's being toyed with a little bit. Titans inbound, but lose it. Saints are in possession again. Bartlaga. Defender coming in from behind. Bartlaga shakes her off and passes back to Adamari Carrera. Up top, Flores. Kelly Flores dribbles it to her right. Flores pulls back to take a shot with the left foot, and it drifts over the net. 13:40 to play. First half. Domination so far by the Fighting Saints. This is the biggest lead they've held this year. They have not won a game yet. They have tied their last two and have 4 overall this year. But this is only the 3rd time this season that they've scored multiple goals. Dribble into the box. A chance for the Fighting Saints. Cotton comes sliding in and scoops that ball up. Good play that time from Cotton. Litzy Mendez was trying to score, made a nice individual run, but came up a little bit short. So it's St. Francis on defense. Those 2 games, by the way, prior to today, in which St. Francis scored multiple goals, they lost one of them, 3-2 to Marion, one of the best teams around. And then the other one, they had to come from behind to tie. So that 3-3 draw on Saturday actually was not disappointing for them at all, just because of the way that it ended. They scored late to tie it up. So when you're trailing early, sometimes you come back to win, it feels like a win. Or come back to tie, it feels like a win. The other team feels like it's a loss, even though both sides took the same result. Headed towards the box, stepping up, punching it away is Riley Cotton. Put in front of the net, cleared by the Titans defense. Nobody there wearing black though. So the Saints get to mount another run right away. There's a whistle and the free kick's coming to the Fighting Saints. Bad place on the field to commit a foul. Saints have already scored here a couple of times, not on set pieces. But from actually a little bit further back than this a couple of times. So the distance isn't an issue. Kick comes in and hits against the wall of black shirts right in front. So nothing that time for Diaz, who has 2 goals and an assist today. Here's Haley Bartlaga. Bartlaga's cross is intercepted. Riley Cotton scoops it up. Still 3-0 St. Francis. They didn't start scoring their goals right away. Well, 7 minutes in, so it was pretty close to right away. But they haven't scored in a while. They had that initial flurry. Things have slowed down since as they go to their bench to bring in 2 substitutes. Valeria Valles Garcia and Andrea Villa check in. The key for the Fighting Saints is that they're just not giving up possession. It's not terribly uncommon for St. Francis. They have outshot their opponents this season. Overall, coming into play today, they were at +20 in terms of shots taken this year. Already in today's game, they've been able to pile them up and score 3 times on Riley Cotton, who may or may not be back out there for the second half. Remember, Cotton and Jordan Aiello have gone head-to-head a lot. Not head-to-head. They're teammates. I'm sure they like each other just fine. But they've been rivals for playing time. "17 shots to 1 in favor of the Fighting Saints so far. Not all of those shots certainly have been on goal. They haven't always been good shots. They're taking a lot of them from way outside, which is not typically their game. And rarely results in the ball going in, but it has 3 times today. All 3 have been from outside the box. There's a deflection of the back line and cleared. Another shot, number 18 of the game, this time from Haley Bartlaga, but right at the waiting goalkeeper. An easy pickup for Riley Cotton, who makes her 4th save of the day. Cotton entered play today making an average of about 10 saves per game, which, considering she's also allowing over 4 goals per contest, shows that she faces a lot of shots. This is somebody who doesn't even play the whole game always when she's out there. It's a pretty crazy number, the amount of shots she's faced compared to her platoon partner, who we may see later, Aiello. I'll do the quick math on Aiello. He's averaging to see 7 shots per game. Again, Cotton is right around 10 shots per game. And about 6 of them typically result in saves. 7 minutes to play in the first half. Be a good time for St. Francis to go to the locker room, talk over everything that went right before going out there for the second half, just to keep everyone's spirits up. But that's not to say it won't get their spirits back further up again. I had to throw in further because I'm sure they're up right now, but you go into halftime strong if they scored another goal, or if they dominated possession time the way they already have. I'm sure that would make halftime a little bit more fun. I was going to say a little bit more bearable. I think halftime's always bearable. You don't want to get yelled at halftime. I don't think anybody is going to get yelled at today. IUSB hasn't played too well so far, but they've been struggling lately, not just today. Free kick for the Titans. Finally, they're trying to push it deep into St. Francis territory. It doesn't work. Quickly cleared off the free kick. My point about going into halftime was just that they played so well. You almost don't want to go up by too much. At least you never want to go up by too much. The question is, what is too much? Is it 1 million or is it 4? I think that you take a 4-goal lead into halftime. On the one hand, you feel really good about your chances to win. On the other, you know that somebody else is just a few hot minutes away from completely turning it on its head. Down to the final 5 minutes of the first half. All St. Francis so far, they lead 3-0. 2 goals for Diaz, 1 for Alexis Mariquin. In case you're wondering, that was Mariquin's first goal of the year. Saints playing with just 3 defenders back right now. Cross midfield, but nobody there for the Titans, so an easy pickup for St. Francis as they reverse field again. Back on the other side of midfield. Just always seems to be there. Foul called on the Fighting Saints. Free kick for the Titans. Just shy of midfield. Taken away by St. Francis there. IUSB had possession on the right side of the field for one of their longest stretches of the game. Didn't turn into anything, though. Not much excitement there. Very opposite on the two sides of the field. Non-stop excitement. When it's the Fighting Saints, they've just had a lot of players getting involved. St. Francis has not won yet this year, but they're sitting pretty for their first. Down into the corner, there's your cross, and caught on the fly by Riley Cotton. Final 3 minutes of the half now. One bounce across midfield on the goal kick. Was nearly intercepted. Down into the corner, Morales chases it. She can't pick it up over here, but maybe just wanted to get in on the action. It's been a while. That's the downside to playing goalie. If you're not playing a great team, a long time might pass before you get to see a ball. Here come the Saints. Pushed ahead to Bartlaga and knocked off her foot immediately. A little tangle up. Jones wins it though for IUSB. Bartlaga taps it back. Good touch from Haley Bartlaga, getting around the defender. Tried to push it ahead. Couldn't get Valeria Valles Garcia though. She was right along the sideline. That ball didn't quite make it through. Would have been trouble if it had. That's a good play. To the near sideline. This is Carrera. Adamari Carrera has the cross right in front of the box. One dribble. Volant passes into the box and overrun just a little bit. Trying to feed Sandy Garcia, Valeria Valles Garcia. Nobody can get her the ball though. Whether the pass is behind her or she stumbles over it a little bit. Under a minute to play now. Going into halftime soon. St. Francis has a big advantage. Deflected towards the sideline by Brenda Hernandez. Out of bounds. We're running out of time here, so the Fighting Saints will try to mount one last run down to the other side and see if they can get another clean shot off. If they can't do it quickly, they'll just go into halftime with a 3-goal lead, which I'm sure they will not be disappointed by. Challenge for the ball at midfield. Does IUSB have time for one last run towards the net? They haven't had a first run to the net yet. Now it looks like the half will end right here. Saints let it roll. It's out of bounds. And so we have reached halftime in Joliet. What a start for the Fighting Saints. Scored 6.5 minutes in and never looked back. 3-0. The count in favor of the University of St. Francis here at Joliet Memorial Stadium on a Wednesday evening. Now conference play in full swing. We'll have the second half of this game along with first half stats in about 15 minutes. For now, the Saints lead the Titans 3-0. Halftime here in Joliet, but we're just moments away from the start of the second half. St. Francis against Indiana South Bend. CCAC soccer. Both teams looking for their first win in conference play, and the Saints are in a little bit better position to get that right now than the Titans. Terry Bonadonna with you to call another 45 minutes of soccer action. Both teams are on the field. St. Francis will get the first kick here in the second half, and they flip sides. The Saints are going from right to left. The Titans from left to right. If you look at the score and see the St. Francis team leading 3-0, it probably doesn't tell you enough about how much that first half was dominated by the Fighting Saints. I don't have any exact data on it, but it felt like the ball was on the attacking side for the Fighting Saints for over 80% of the half. They were constantly in control of the ball. They outshot IUSB by an 18-1 count. And the first shot of the game actually came from Indiana South Bend. They had far and away their best opportunity in the first minute or so of the match. A shot from St. Francis here is saved by Riley Cotton, still out there for the Titans. Cotton, I talked about during the first half, has split time in goal this year with Jordan Aiello. And after a tough first half for Cotton, in which she allowed 3 goals, I thought we might see Aiello out there for half number 2, but it is still a starter playing. But as I was saying, it was the first minute or so of the match that IUSB set up a really good chance. Their best goal scorer, Katie Jones, had a fairly open look at the net and missed it wide. And then the Titans never had the ball again, it seemed, for the next half hour or so. St. Francis just totally dominated the possession. As I said, 18-1. That's in terms of total shots. Shots on goal were 7-0 in favor of the Fighting Saints. So at the moment, Katie Morellis, in her first start of the year, does have a shutout going, but it's the easiest shutout of any half she'll ever have, no matter how many games she starts, because she didn't have to make a single save. I want to say she only touched the ball maybe one time the whole half. 2 minutes into the second half, more of the same in that we're keeping our heads turned in the same direction. This half, St. Francis is going from right to left, so we'd be looking to the left side of the field, not the right, but that's the way it went the whole first half. They just had the ball on the attack. We weren't constantly peppering Cotton with shots. They did take 18 shots in the half, but a good portion of those were well off the mark. But the point was that they just always had it. The Titans couldn't clear. They're able to here. Haven't gotten it across midfield, but now they do as they halt the St. Francis attack pretty quickly, trying to make a run of their own. Not a lot of mustard on that pass, and so it's intercepted pretty easily by Abby Janacek, who sends it the other direction for the Fighting Saints. Saints control it in the midfield. Here's a run towards the edge of the box. A shot is saved by Cotton. Isabel Diaz scored 2 goals in the first half, the first 2 goals of the game. Tried another one right there. Diaz got a good look. That was the 9th shot she has taken in today's game. 9 shots from Diaz alone. Isabel Diaz, the freshman out of Spain, has played awfully well for the Fighting Saints. Coming off the bench primarily, but today she got the start. And it was well justified after the first half that she played today. Battle for the ball at midfield, and possession is won by the Fighting Saints. Into the middle of the field. Big run to the left side. Here's Pelayo working her way down the sideline. Michelle Pelayo tripped up in the corner. And we've got a foul called. We have not seen a corner kick yet in today's game. This won't be one, but it's from a similar position. It's about 10 yards up and near the sideline. So the foul on IUSB means another chance for St. Francis. There weren't a ton of fouls in the first half either, just 6 total. Here's the free kick right in front of the net. There's the shot, and That's a goal. It went through the net. I thought initially it may have hit the side of the net and bounced out, but no, it went through the net. It was a good goal, and the Saints have extended their lead 4-0 now. And they strike quickly in the second half. It took them just 4.5 minutes to get back on the board. That came off the free kick from the corner. And as I was just saying, there haven't been a lot of those today just because there haven't been a lot of whistles. So not a ton of set pieces, but when the Saints do get one, they're able to make it pay off. Their 4th goal of the game. They scored 6.5 minutes into the first half, and they strike even earlier than that here in the second half, just 4.5 minutes in. Their lead is 4-0. This is a new season high in goals scored. Keep in mind, this team had scored just 5 goals total through 8 games. Jones makes a run, knocked away from her. The Saints get a good stop. They scored 5 goals in 8 games, and now in their last 2, they have 7. So they're starting to come alive. I talked about it during the last game on Saturday. They've played well. They've outshot their opponents by a considerable margin this year. But not a lot of good shots. They just haven't had any strong finishers on the team, and it's a young offensive team that's starting to figure out how to finish these plays. That time it was Abby Janacek who scored. Janacek, the sophomore defender, scores for the first time this year. There's a cross in front of the net. Another chance for St. Francis. Fighting for the ball. It's knocked out of bounds. Good fight from Alexis Mariquin, forcing the corner kick. She just worked a little bit harder than the 2 defenders in her way. And now the first corner kick of the game for the Fighting Saints. First corner kick for either team today. There's a corner in front of the net, knocked towards the side by IUSB and out the back line once again. So another corner kick coming up for the Fighting Saints, 2nd in a row. Kick is sent to the back post, missed by a couple of Saints, and out of bounds for a goal kick. It's not this time for St. Francis. They scored off their last set piece from the corner, but this time they get 2 chances. Doesn't go anywhere. Still a hefty lead for the Fighting Saints, who have played well all season defensively. They give up an average of 1.6 goals per game. And they have not given up more than 3 goals in any game this year. Twice they've allowed 3, never more than that. So this game is not over yet, but considering that track record, you feel pretty good if you're St. Francis right now. Nice defensive play by Abby Janacek. Turned away from it to try to not take that ball straight on the head, but good defensive play. She scored a goal a few minutes ago, and now getting it done on the other end. Back on offense for St. Francis, it's Mariquin. Mariquin in front of the net, deflected away by Cotton and cleared by the Titans defense. IUSB working hard to try to get downfield. They're unsuccessful. Saints take it back. Here's Diaz. Diaz takes a dribble, passes to herself, and takes the shot. Save that time from Riley Cotton. Another shot from Diaz. She had 10 shots this season in 3 games played. She's got 10 shots today in 1 game played. She's turned it up, though, now. 4 goals in 4 games this season. Long run, Mariquin. Mariquin's able to track it down, looking for help over the middle. Her cross a little bit behind the intended target. There's a shot stepping up from 25 yards out. Andrea Aguirre not able to get much on that one. A pretty easy pickup for Cotton. Saints take control again. Here comes Mariquin. Mariquin's shot deflected out of bounds. Another corner kick. Mariquin set that one up defensively. Knocked it off the foot of a Titans player and carried it in herself, forcing the deflection out of bounds for the corner kick. Flores has it set up. Flores picked up an assist a few minutes ago, so she's got 1 point today. Now leads the team with 3 assists for the season. Right on the front post, it's pushed directly out of bounds, and we've got another corner coming up. 4 corner kicks for St. Francis. I said there were none in the first half. That's slightly off. They did have 1 in the first half, so 5 for the game now. Sent back to Anna Jakubiak, but it was a little bit behind her, not exactly where Flores wanted that pass, so Jakubiak had to track it back before setting up this push, and that means nothing going forward for St. Francis, an easy stop for Riley Cotton. Cotton punts it across midfield. A bad touch from Emily Galvin. Galvin knocks it out of bounds. And the Saints take it away. Valeria Valles Garcia takes the ball back for St. Francis. Saints continue to play well tonight. Over 10 minutes into the second half, very little difference from what we saw over the first 45 minutes. They're holding the ball almost exclusively. Senior Haley Bartlaga checks in for St. Francis. And Isabel Diaz, she of the 2 goals and 10 shots tonight, heads out. St. Francis works their way downfield. Set up for the free kick. Opposite corner this time. Here it comes. And it's over the head of a couple of St. Francis players who are coming in for it. Out of bounds along the sideline, thrown in by IUSB. Back across midfield on the defensive end, it's Galvin. Tapped across midfield, Haley Bartlaga, typically a starter for St. Francis. Today, coming off the bench. One of her first touches is a pass to the right. There's a shot and a save by Cotton. We've seen the shot total just continue to rise for St. Francis today. They've been taking a lot of them. Been taking a lot of them from a long way out. That hasn't been necessarily a bad strategy. That's how they got 2 of their 4 goals came from long distance, both from Diaz. Their other 2 were a little closer to the net when the shots were taken, but a lot of pretty easy saves for Cotton. Cotton's save numbers are going up. It's been the case all year. For whatever reason, when she's been in there compared to when Jordan Aiello's been in there, they have been bombarded. Coming into play today, almost an identical number of minutes played this season for Cotton and Aiello. And Cotton had seen 29 more shots than Aiello had, and more of the same today. A ton of shots against Riley Cotton, who at the end of the day is going to have some pretty bad stats, as that's knocked out of bounds by St. Francis. It'll be a goal kick. Anytime you're a goalkeeper, you give up 4 goals, you'd say it's a bad day. There's no way around it. But she's made a lot of saves as well. 9 of them. Anytime you can make 9 saves in one game, pretty impressive. Gave the number earlier that Cotton was seeing about 10 shots per game. That was a mistake on my part. What I meant to say is she's making close to 10 saves per game. She's actually seeing 12 shots on goal per game. She's already seen 13 of them today. Saints are trying to add a few more. Flores along the near sideline. Flores taps it towards the corner. Chased down by Valeria Valles Garcia, and she can't reach it. Goes out of bounds. We've got a goal kick. See, on one end, Cotton has seen 13 shots on goal. On the other end, not a one against Katie Morales. Morales is getting ready to put on her nightcap and bring a pillow out to the field. She hasn't had to do much of anything today. I believe she has touched the ball just one time all evening. But if the score ends up like this, she will get credit for the shutout. Long way in for the Fighting Saints, knocked away by IUSB. Still fighting for it. Mariquin tried to get it back for St. Francis. The ball forced out of bounds, last touched by IUSB. And a throw in for the Saints. Pelayo tosses it back into play. Pelayo's ball is intercepted. Good defensive play from Alessandra Lozano. Flores for St. Francis. Slows it down past into the center of the pitch. Right back over to Flores on the left. Flores chips it downfield looking for Pelayo, and she is able to keep it in bounds down in the corner. There's the cross, deflected by the Titans. Still loose and sent out of bounds by IUSB. Flores lost it off the first touch. Saints tried to get it back, but Jones is there to take it away for the Titans. South Bend going back and forth, playing horizontally right now. They have not been able to turn it upfield, and they're not going to be able to as the Saints take it away once more. Here's Flores in the circle. Abby Janacek steps up from the defense. Just one defender back right now for the Fighting Saints. Here's Bartlaga struggling to get the ball. She does get it back to Mariquin, and Mariquin's ball doesn't make it through. Stolen away by South Bend. Down the sideline. It's a little too close to the sideline. Dribbled out of bounds by Vivian Garcia. Titans just can't get it back to the offensive end. Saints are wearing them out today. On the far end. Ball sent to the middle. Andrea Aguirre taps it down to the corner. Nobody there wearing gold. Knocked out of bounds by the Titans. We're 17 minutes into the second half. 28 minutes to play in the game. St. Francis dominance has not slowed down. One goal in the second half after taking a 3-0 lead in a halftime. South Bend not able to get any sort of momentum going forward. Here comes Mariquin for the Saints. Mariquin's ball nearly knocked away, but Bartlaga is able to find it. Back to Flores. Flores dribbles to her left. Flores takes the shot and scores. And again, a long-range strike from St. Francis from 30 yards out. Kelly Flores scores for the first time this season. Led the team with 3 assists and now adds a goal to her points total as well. Saints lead is 5-0. Fighting Saints went behind against Judson on Saturday afternoon. It was 2-0 early in that game. They came back, ended up tying it twice and finishing with a 3-3 draw. But that means over their last 2 games, they've outscored their opponents 8-1 since falling behind. 5 goals remains, or I shouldn't say remains, it becomes the season high. 4 goals had been the season high. It was 3 at the start of the night. They keep outdoing themselves. Indiana South Bend finally gets it across midfield. It's taken away by St. Francis again. Down the sideline, pushed ahead towards that back corner. Knocked loose. Mariquin takes a shot, and it falls gingerly into the hands of Riley Cotton. Five-goal lead for the Fighting Saints. Today's goal-scoring output has now matched the goal-scoring output for the Saints' first 8 games this year. They were shut out in 3 consecutive contests prior to last Tuesday. But they have started to find their offense. Isabel Diaz has certainly kick-started it. There's a trip and a foul called on Indiana South Bend. That's as close as the Titans have been to the St. Francis goal in a long time. And it ends very abruptly, the attack on the foul. Then the Saints are able to quickly clear it once again on the free kick. It's been just about a year since the last time Fighting Saints were able to put a 5 spot on the board. They did it on October 1st of last year. Beat Calumet College of St. Joseph 5-0. That was right here at home on a Saturday afternoon as the ball bounces into the box, scooped up by Morellis. So finally she gets involved. Katie Morellis won't get credit for a save there, but at least she gets to pick the ball up. One on 4, no chance for IUSB on that one. The Titans haven't really picked up their offensive game plan. Katie Jones has been the lone player up front. Nothing has changed, but I don't know how much you can change. They just haven't had the ball up there, and if you can't possess it, it doesn't really do much good to have any extra offense up there. It makes it a little bit more difficult on the occasions when you do have a strike going. Fighting Saints go to their bench. 3 new players are coming in. Sofalina Valles-Vargas, Anna Jakubiak, and Adamari Carrera all return to action. We saw all of them in the first half. Now getting another go at it here in the second with a big St. Francis lead. We'll probably see a lot of their subs in over the course of this second half. Unless anything changes here as far as not just the score, but the way this game feels. You'd think at this point Indiana South Bend would have to score 2 or 3 before you feel like they're putting any kind of threat together. It's lost out of bounds by the Fighting Saints, far end of the field. IUSB gets a throw in. Stolen immediately by the Fighting Saints off the throw and deflected right back out of bounds. Another one coming. Last time these two teams played, St. Francis also had a 5-0 victory. They scored as many as 5 in 3 different conference games last year. The first time that they've done it this season. As I said before, they had just 5 goals total all season until a week ago. Through a week ago. 5 goals in 8 games. Now 8 goals in 2 games. It's hard to say if this is just a really good game or if Indiana South Bend is just struggling that much or if the Saints really have turned over a new leaf. But the fact that they also put 3 goals on the board on Saturday certainly leans towards the latter option. This isn't just a good game. This is the team maybe starting to turn things around offensively. It says a lot about your defense when you have 5 goals in 8 games and you've tied almost half the ones that you've played. You've played 9 games. Typically, you haven't won any of them. You're thinking this has been a pretty bad season, but Saints have been respectable. And now they're starting to add some results to that respectability. That's cleared right up the middle by St. Francis. Now they start the counter strike. 2 players ahead, but neither one of them able to pull that pass in. Mariquin went a little bit too hard with it. 21 minutes to play. St. Francis by 5. Taken away by Jakubiak, and she's called for the foul, or she is fouled rather. Garcia is called for the infraction, and a free kick coming up for the Fighting Saints. Ball sent in by Janacek and immediately deflected back by IUSB. Janacek enters the play once again, off to the left side, deflected out of bounds. Mariquin passes off to her right. Good defensive play, but the Saints get it back. Mariquin off into the corner. Carrera tries to cross it. Too many black shirts in the way. And it deflects right back to Adamari Carrera, who this time lets it go out of bounds for a throw-in. She grabs it herself and tosses it into Mariquin and knocked away from her out of bounds. Tapped back. It rolls out to Andrea Aguirre. She tries to set it up to her right. Good defense again from IUSB, but again, nobody forward for the Titans, so the Saints are able to resume their play. Janacek ahead for Carrera. Carrera working her way towards the edge of the box, tries to make a move to her right. There's her pass, deflected, nearly intercepted. Saints get it back. Here's Aguirre stepping up. Her shot nowhere near the target, deflects right back to her. Down into the corner, it's Carrera. Carrera looking to work her way out of the corner. Finds Mariquin into the box. Nice pass from Mariquin to Aguirre. One dribble, shot wide. Out of bounds. We've got a goal kick coming up. Beautiful setup from St. Francis. And the shot just missed, a little bit off target. America Esparza comes off the bench for Indiana University South Bend. And Maya DeSonu comes out. Knocked out of bounds by the Titans. Back to the same old problem for IUSB. They just can't clear it out of this zone. Saints remain in possession. They remain in the attacking third. Good ball work from Valles Vargas. Passed off to her right. Bartlaga gives it up, gets it right back, and the Saints go to their defense. Here comes Galvin. Jakubiak has it knocked off of her foot out of bounds. Well defended. And before the Saints throw it in, we get another substitute. Andrea Villa checks in. Just the second game that she's played in this year. She'll get some time here with 17:20 to play. She might be out there the rest of the way. Alexis Mariquin heads out. With a 5-goal lead, Al Pilar doesn't have a huge incentive to bring these starters back in. Making all the subs that he has in the second half is not out of the ordinary, but typically we would see these players get a little bit of a rest and then probably come back in for the last several minutes, trying to provide a spark late, but I don't know that that's going to be necessary today. He might just stick with the subs the rest of the game. We'll see how he plays it out. There's time yet for Indiana South Bend to make a run, and there's time for St. Francis to get another goal or two and really put it away too. And then, of course, even if they don't score again, they'll put this one away just by letting that clock continue to run all the way down to the back line and out of bounds. That'll let the clock run a little bit. We've got a goal kick coming up and also some substitutes coming in. Both sides go to the bench. Valeria Valles-Garcia is back in for St. Francis. Jasuri Vasquez, who played a little bit in the first half, is out there again for the Titans here in the second. Throw-in coming up for Indiana South Bend. And even something like this we haven't seen a lot of today. Just a throw-in from deep in St. Francis's zone, just trying to gather possession, keep the ball on this side of the field for a little while and turn it into a couple of good opportunities. No scoring chance yet here. Remember, IUSB took the first shot of the game. They had their best scoring chance of the game very early. And since then, we've seen essentially nothing. Just one shot since that time for IUSB. There's the free kick into the box. Bounces once and to the backside. The Saints are able to knock it loose and out the sideline on the opposite end of the field. Still just 2 total shots for IUSB. They've been outshot today by 30. It's more of the same between these two teams. There's a shot. Morales is able to jump in and make the grab. I don't know if she'll get credit for the save or not on that one. Hard to tell from this angle if that was on goal. But Morales finally does get herself involved after a long stretch where she really wasn't needed on the field. Out of bounds. IUSB gets the throw again. All time, St. Francis has outscored Indiana South Bend by 21 goals over the last 3 years. This fledgling Titans program has struggled here. 11-0 win for St. Francis 2 years ago. And the Saints won last season 5-0. Same score so far today with 14 minutes to play. Knocked out of bounds by the Titans. Throw in for St. Francis. Here's Michelle Pelayo on the near sideline. Passed it and got it right back from Valles-Garcia. She reverses field. Galvin pushes to the far end. And lost out of bounds by the Fighting Saints. The Saints have gone to their bench, but so has Bobby Barnes for Indiana South Bend. They've got several reserves in as well, so St. Francis doesn't want to use that as an excuse that a lot of their starters are out right now. South Bend has started to turn the tides a little bit. Obviously, still down by 5 goals. They're not in good position, but they would like to leave here with some positive feelings. They're starting to develop them, as over the last 2 minutes or so, they've had the ball on the attacking side much more often, including right now where they've got the free kick just across midfield. Long ball headed into the box. Morales watches that one to the back line and lets it go out of bounds. We've got a goal kick for the Fighting Saints. So it was good while it lasted for Indiana South Bend. But they do have to march their midfield back, I guess appropriately enough, to the middle of the field. The pressure is off as the Saints get a chance to clear it. One touch right back to the defensive box for St. Francis. Pass deflected. And a foul called on Indiana South Bend. Vasquez gave a little push in the back of Pelayo. Or Valles-Garcia, rather. Here's Pelayo turning it around the sideline, passing back. Just under 12 minutes to play. St. Francis running down that clock right now, hoping for a few more good pushes before it's all over. Andrea Villa tries to track that ball down, and she does keep it in bounds. Nice effort from Villa. Now looking for help over the middle. There's the cross, and there's the clearance from South Bend. Second chance. The Saints aren't able to get a good shot off. It was there for Sandy Garcia. Garcia stepped in at the last second on that play after Titans knocked away the initial cross. She stepped in and just sent it way over the net. No chance on the shot, but Titans have not yet been able to get it out of harm's way after the goal kick. Saints still in possession as they try to add a sixth goal. 3 in the first half, 2 so far here in the second. Cross midfield. South Bend has it for the moment. Working in the wrong direction right now, but just trying to hold on to the ball. Pass towards the sideline and tapped out of bounds from behind by Valles Garcia. Throw in for Indiana South Bend. Pelayo gives it back to Galvin. St. Francis running a little bit more time. Lost across midfield. Battle for the loose ball, and possession is won by the Fighting Saints. Valles Garcia ahead to Villa. One touch to her right. Good pass from Valles Vargas down to Villa in the corner. She controls it. One defender in front of her. Tapped back to Valles Garcia. Sandy Garcia. One bounce off of her kick towards the net, and Riley Cotton grabs it on the hop. Saints are forced to retreat. 5-0 lead for the home team, which has really taken advantage of a lot of home games. 3 of their first 4 in conference play have been right here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. Dropped the initial contest at Trinity Christian, but just 1-0. And then after a 3-3 tie against Judson on Saturday, they do appear to be on their way to a win tonight, although a foul called on St. Francis here means that Indiana South Bend is going to get one of their best scoring chances of the night, a free kick from just outside the box. After this one, just 1 more road game before 2 in a row at home. Saints have had a very favorable home schedule to start conference play. Ball is set up, 24 yards out. Here comes the free kick, coming in high and just over. Some members of the Indiana South Bend bench thought that they might have had a goal there, I think. It was close. But the shot from Alessandro Lozano just sailed over the crossbar and dropped down to the back of the net. Just under 8 minutes left now. St. Francis has got to feel pretty good about having this win in their pocket now, but they want to play hard till the end, finish up this shutout. They have not had a shutout victory, obviously, this year. They haven't had any victory, but they have had one shutout. It was a draw, 0-0 against St. Francis. That, of course, was with Crystal Rodriguez in net. Rodriguez had started every game of the season prior to today. Katie Morellis making her first start today, has acquitted herself well, albeit without having been challenged all that much. Indiana South Bend has only forced her to make 1 save so far this evening. It was just a couple of minutes ago. Fired right to the St. Francis bench there. And a throw in for the Fighting Saints. Here's Villa. working her way down the sideline into the corner. Two defenders trailing her, and one of them knocked it out of bounds. But was Villa the last one to touch it? Apparently so, according to the referee, Jorge Bolinas. Goal kick here for IUSB. Running out of time as they try to avoid getting shut out. They're going through a really rough stretch on the verge of their 5th consecutive loss, but coming into today, they had scored at least once in 2 consecutive games. And they're in danger of that coming to an end. And you don't want to celebrate a streak in which you score, especially if you lose both games. But when you're a struggling program, still trying to get off the ground a little bit, you grasp onto whatever positives you can find. Nobody likes to go home without having scored as a team. Under 6 minutes to play, so they are short on time. St. Francis in control of possession once again along the midfield. Got a little bit of a collision and a foul called on Indiana South Bend. Far side of the field, free kick coming up for St. Francis. Sent in right towards the net, and Riley Cotton's able to stick it. Strong hands from Cotton. Grabbed that one out of the reach of a couple of Saints attackers. And then she directs her team downfield as she gets set to punt it away. Out of bounds off the Fighting Saints. Throw coming up for IUSB. On the attack, here's a ball towards the edge of the box, cleared by the Fighting Saints. So crisis averted there. How many more chances do the Titans have here as the ball bounces into the box and Morellis grabs it on a hop? No shot there from Indiana South Bend. Still just one save in the game for Morellis. Just the one shot on goal, but again, Morellis in position to pick up her first collegiate shutout as a foul is called on IUSB. Saints have called off the Dogs a little bit. They've removed most of their starting players. Haven't really changed their style at all, but some of the players who were performing really well are out. Villa's performing well off the bench, looking for a pass there, but nobody on the receiving end. Sent back into the box, and Valles Garcia dribbles it out of bounds. Goal kick coming up. But they haven't changed their aggressive nature in the second half of this game, but just by playing different personnel. Haven't had quite as many shots, though it's not that far off. They had 18 in the first half, 16 in the second half. I mean, either is an enormous total. Headed into the air, knocked loose. Valles Garcia on the sideline. Valles Garcia all the way down to the corner. Trying to get around a couple of defenders. Finds Villa. Andrea Villa spins her way back towards the sideline and out of bounds. Just too many defenders in the way. She got by 2. Couldn't shake the third. Throw-in is headed right back by St. Francis. Valles Garcia back towards the sideline. Looking for help. Finds Villa. Villa sends it into the box. Knocked towards the sideline. Still on the field, in play, and we've got a whistle and a foul on the Fighting Saints. Five 0 St. Francis with the clock approaching 2 minutes to play in the game. And the Fighting Saints on the verge of their first victory this year. After winning 12 games a season ago, lost some talent from last year's squad, brought a lot back as well. And particularly on the defensive side, they've played really well this year. They've just had a problem scoring. That has not been an issue today. It's not been an issue now in back-to-back games. Nice footwork by Jakubiak. Passed off to her right after she was able to break free of a couple of defenders and keep her dribble alive. She passes again here. Galvin steps up and keeps it alive for the Fighting Saints. Nice job by Emily Galvin. Galvin takes it to the far end of the field. Tries to turn it upfield. Passes down towards the corner. And it's rolled out of bounds. That was last touched by St. Francis. Goal kick coming for Indiana South Bend. And they'll try to move the ball downfield quickly and see what transpires. They try to end this shutout because they might not have more than one more opportunity in them, depending on how quickly they move it down there. Fighting Saints get it back, and if they want to, throughout this game, they've been able to hold on to the ball pretty much whenever they've wanted. So if they want to here, they might be able to just pass out the remaining 45 seconds. They've still got it right now. IUSB struggling to get one more chance towards the net. Only 5 shots in the game for the Titans. Rolled past the defensive line. Nobody there offensively. It's scooped up by the goalkeeper. And the Titans are in no real hurry here. Ball ricocheting back and forth. The Saints have it. It's pushed out of bounds, and that'll just about do it. 17 seconds left. Again, the Titans not in a huge hurry to put the ball back in play, so it doesn't look like they'll try to get it down and take one more shot. Ball rolls to a stop in the middle of the field. One final kick from St. Francis, and that leads us to the end of the game. The buzzer sounds, and St. Francis is in the wins column. First time this year, the Fighting Saints have knocked off a rival opponent. Indiana South Bend is the victim. 5-0, the final score. And the Fighting Saints have started to get themselves on a roll. 8 goals total over the last 2 games. They came from behind for a 3-3 draw on Saturday afternoon. And today, never really in doubt. They scored their first goal 6.5 minutes in and just poured it on. 3 goals in the first half, 1 more early in the second half, and then a 5th late for good measure. 2 goals today from Isabel Diaz. She had the first 2 goals of the game, her 3rd and 4th of the season, and put the Fighting Saints in pretty good position early on. 24th minute, Alexis Mariquin, who had an assist earlier in the game, added a goal to her stat line as well. For Mariquin, it was the first goal of the year. It was also the first assist of the season for Mariquin earlier when she picked that one up. That's what made the score 3-0 at halftime. Second half, Kelly Flores stepped up. Flores had an assist on a corner kick, and then she ended up with a goal of her own later in the game. So good work from Flores in the second half, who added to her team lead by picking up her 3rd assist of the season. And then the Fighting Saints got the first goal of the year from Abby Janacek on that corner kick, with Flores scoring unassisted for the 5th and final goal of the game. With the win, the Fighting Saints improved their record to 1-5-4 for the season. They're now an even 1-1-2 in conference play. 5 points in CCAC action this year. It's not a bad run for the Fighting Saints through 4 games. For Indiana South Bend, they dropped their 5th consecutive contest. They fall to 3-6-1 overall. They are winless at 0-4 in conference play so far this season. The Fighting Saints will head to the road for the weekend, but it won't be long before they're back here at Joliet Memorial Stadium, as they will play a weeknight game here next week against Governor State. They're on the road at Olivet Nazarene over the weekend. Tuesday night, 7 o'clock next week, Governor State. Final totals from today's game: total shots 34-5 in favor of St. Francis. Shots on goal 14-1. Katie Morales only had to make the 1 save, but she does pick up her first shutout. Worth noting, Isabel Diaz scored 2 goals, 1 assist. She had 10 shots and 4 shots on goal in today's game. An impressive performance all around for St. Francis. A feel-good win for them, their first of the season. Next home game for the Fighting Saints, 6 days away. On Tuesday, they take on Governor State here at 7. And that's the next time we'll have a broadcast for you here on the USF Sports Network. Thanks for tuning in to today's game, a 5-0 Fighting Saints win over the Titans of Indiana South Bend. Until next time, Terry Bonadonna signing off from Joliet, Illinois. Have a good night.